So to get things started, share with the people what is Atypical Society.
Yeah, man. Atypical Society is a art and entertainment multimedia platform. We basically bring awareness and exposure to emerging creators. And those type of creators are visual artists, music artists, and performing artists. And actually, we have a way of that. We're basically constructing how we're going to be doing that. We're coming out with a series, which is actually going to be the push for Atypical Society moving forward now. It's going to be a 10 10 episodes first series that we're going to be actually putting out in November.
Okay.
It's going to be really dope. It's going to be pretty much the modern day Yo MTV Raps. So
that's going to be dope. Definitely looking forward to that. Is that something that's going to be on like YouTube?
Yeah, so we're going to be streaming it through the website, but of course, it's going to be on YouTube.
Okay.
So
you're going to do it live? So we can go to the website and see it live, or you just going to have...
Yeah, I'm just going to have the episodes running through there.
On the website, if I want to use my YouTube app,
if you want to go to YouTube, you can find it there too. It'd basically be like a music video countdown. It'd be exclusive interviews with like dope emerging artists that's up and coming, and also some live performances on there. So you'll get a variation of artists that will be on this platform. It's definitely different than what's going on right now. Nobody's really like touching on it in the market this way.
And we could definitely use a breath of fresh air, fresh talent, fresh faces and everything.
And I'm picking the best of the best from all over. It's very selective, very hand-picked artists I've just been watching, building, relationships and just really supporting. It's a lot of dope people who are not getting the proper exposure or the right platform to be able to reach that audience or be able to tell their story, And I'll give a little, sneak peek. We did one with a dancer. She dances for Fandango and up in Philly. And
okay.
Yeah. It's going to be dope. And that interview is going to be interesting because where do you really see, dancers getting interviewed, about just talking about the insight of being a dancer, a black dancer at that.
Right. You don't. You usually don't see them until they way above and everything like that. But trying to catch somebody at ground level as their name is rising and everybody's starting to get into their talent. Exactly. Yeah, we don't see that.
And I definitely said the name wrong. It's Philadelphia.
And the funny thing is, I knew what you were talking about, but I'm real quick to butcher names anyway.
No, it's cool.
I was going to let that ride.
I was like, oh no, it's Philadelphia. Let me get it right before they curse me out.
Now, how did you start Atypical Society?
Oh man, Atypical Society started in 2012 actually, with two other members, Shantae Young and Denisa Smith. It was basically started off as a blog, pretty much, and we were covering the culture in Wilmington. That was our main focus, was to be able to highlight stylish individuals, artists, pretty much like emerging artists, like how I'm doing now.
Okay.
But yeah, it was pretty much a blog, and we would literally go different places and like interview people live. Take pictures of people who were like stylish at different events. We would do like write-ups on the blog where you can find out where these artists are, their music is streaming, or where the next time they're performing, or when the next, art show or art exhibit is happening. That's kind of how Atypical started. And then from there, it was short-lived. Due to some life situations that took place, and that was more so me. So
you had some personal situations that came up that you had to take a step back, and they kind of just like let it just fade out.
Yeah, and I wish it didn't work that way. I wish it didn't happen that way. Honestly, I wish they were still a part of Atypical Society till this day. But things happen. Life takes its toll.
You still keep in touch with them though, right?
Yeah, we're still good.
Okay, that's the good part.
Yeah,
though,
I definitely had healed the mend, between us, to make sure it wasn't no bad blood. But plus, I really loved them. We all went to high school together.
Oh, okay.
Really, really good friends. So yeah, and that's kind of how it kind of fell off for a minute, and I went to start doing other ventures like managing Union Music Group.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of got thrown into that situation, and managing them really brought out a lot of who I was as a man, and it really challenged my character. It really challenged my personality, and it challenged me of what I wanted to do in life, you know. And I didn't know anything about managing. I just kind of was like, you know what, these guys are super talented. Let me like throw myself in there, and from there it evolved into like going back to Atypical.
Okay.
Dealing with these guys made me want to start Atypical back up. So I went back to Shantae and Denise and was like, yo, do y'all mind if I, take the company and basically, evolve it, transform it? And from there, dealing with Union Music Group, I started these shows called the Wilmington Speakeasy. And
I remember those.
Yeah, the Wilmington Speakeasy was a platform that showcased music artists, visual artists, and performing artists. And it was pretty much a theme. You would come there, it would be like an open gallery. You can see like all different type of visual artists, fine artists, graffiti artists. It was really dope, and they displayed their work. And even I would consider myself an art dealer as well, because I've helped these artists sell their pieces at my show. So I would say I probably.
And that's something huge for artists, because everybody likes their work, but they usually don't get exposure or a platform to sell their work
at all.
So that was a good look on your part, man.
Yeah, man. I felt good because I know the struggle it is here in Delaware to be a visual artist and to sell your work.
Right.
Like I understand, but now we're in the age of technology. Social media is at a boom. It's a little bit easier. I think back then it wasn't as booming, where people knew how to capitalize off of it the way they do now.
Yeah, because the whole e-commerce thing wasn't as simple. Now we got Cash App, we got Vimeo,
exactly.
we got different ways to get people to pay for stuff they want.
Yes.
And everything. So I think that helped out a lot.
It helped out tremendously. But yeah, it was through those experiences that we created. We did several speakeasies that basically touched on relative situations that were going on at that time. So it was one speakeasy we called the Wilmington Riots. That was at the time. That was at the time when the city was really under like some huge fire. I remember we had the curfew. It was a lot of like killings going on at that time. That's when they put the stamp on us as Murder Town.
Right.
Yeah, know. And from there, I was trying to create art and experiences where people could not only just see the negative aspects of it, but the beauty in it as well. See, and that's where the artists are the storytellers. And that's what I wanted to do, was to tell stories that was taking place in society at that time through art shows. So it kind of transformed, and from there we started doing events, and Atypical Society evolved. Now
yeah. I gotta ask you this though. I know you've seen the impact that Atypical Society has had when it was first inception to its rebirth, and right now I know you see that, because some of the stuff you were just running down, I'm like, yeah, people working towards that now. That was unheard of. Yeah, around the time you guys were doing it.
No, definitely. I mean, personally, I would say like I'm not necessarily a pioneer, but in a way, I feel like I created a trend that definitely could catapult careers for a lot of these artists, and I've definitely helped a lot of artists like gain some exposure. Even like one of our top artists here, like Terrence Van. I was one of the first people. Atypical Society was one of the first people to put a art show together for him. That was his first art show ever, and from there it like helped catapult his career. So it was shows like that. Even Aleem Smith yesterday night.
Yeah, I like his work too.
It was like the first people to showcase his artwork at a show as well. So it was these platforms that were like giving opportunities to artists in that capacity that I haven't seen around here before. So and now where we're heading, I feel like this is even going to put it on a more global level, where it'll be able to just help even more people outside of Wilmington as well. So I mean, Atypical is evolving. It's taking many forms, and I think we are finally to the point where the formula is where it needs to be.
It definitely sounds like it. Definitely sounds like it. Cause bro, like those names you dropped, like I came across Terrence probably at one of your events, and I remember he had prints like 8x10, and I bought one. I gotta dig that up because I had everything packed away. But the guy's work is just mesmerizing and stuff. And
he evolved so much as an artist, man. It's ridiculous to see where he's at now.
Now, Aleem, I'm just now getting introduced to his work, so I'm definitely checking him out and everything. But he does some great work and everything.
Yeah, him. I was gonna say Smash Label. I was like one of the first people to ever buy a piece from Smash Label. I was the first person to buy a commission piece from them. And I thought that was amazing. I was like, oh, this is monumental. This is dope. I'm like, I'm the first person ever to buy a painting from you guys.
Oh, man. You in the books.
You feel me?
Yeah.
And I still have that in my art collection till this day. I ain't even get it appraised. The value on that is going to probably be crazy. But I'm not probably going to ever sell none of my work. I'm just going to probably build a gallery and people can come and see the various artists I collected over years. So...
And it'd be nice for them to see the journey of Atypical from back then to right now and stuff. Because, it's got to be a major journey. Because I know it was things that when you took a step back from Atypical, I know it was things you had to sit back, reevaluate, and, like, regain focus and everything.
Yeah, man, it was a dark place. Because it was a lot of things being thrown at me that I didn't have the discipline to handle. At the time, I didn't have no mentors. I didn't have anybody like coaching me on how to build a company, understanding like business and what a business mindset looks like. I really didn't know anything, to be honest with you. Atypical is strictly built off of pure passion and self-taught, trying to learn, financial literacy and how to run books properly, understanding marketing, understanding how to put together business plans. It was straight self-taught, man. I mean, it was a lot of trial and error, and I would say, and I had some dark times going through that transition, due to personal stuff that was taking place, because I was trying to find myself as well as a man. Spiritually, mentally, emotionally. I was tackling a lot of traumas that was taking place too. Just holding on to things that was like resonating in my spirit from my past, and trying to understand how to heal them to move forward. Because my biggest thing was like, if I'm going to be out here as an example, I need to make sure that I'm whole so I can deliver properly to the people.
Right.
I don't want to be out here preaching or speaking a certain way and then behind closed doors I'm not righteous. I want to be righteous behind closed doors and when you see me.
Right.
And just be unapologetic and authentically me, So it took some trials, and it taught me a lot. Going into business and becoming an entrepreneur has taught me a lot about myself. Not even just business, but just me as a man, as an individual, a human. It's been a lot, man, and understanding people more.
Right.
It really made me understand people, because at one point in time, I had really bad energy towards doing business with people. My energy was off, and I would get mad, like you asked before, about the support. That was one of the things that frustrated me a lot, was why aren't people gravitating to the creations? Why aren't people appreciating this art that I'm putting out? And it frustrated me to a point where like I didn't care anymore, to where I was damaging myself.
Wow.
And I was like drinking heavy. I was smoking weed super duper heavy. I was very nonchalant. I was going into business meetings high. I was fucking up, bro. I was just doing stuff that was unnecessary, and this is why I said I was in a place that I wasn't really myself, As I was making a lot of bad decisions, and I see that it was affecting my personal life and it was affecting my business as well. And I was like, these are the things that are not helping me scale, you know? And it was just because also this environment was infectious and it wasn't like pouring into me the way I needed it to.
Right.
You know, and like you said, it was very cliquey. And it was like if you weren't a part of that clique, people didn't want to fool with you, you know?
Yeah, because this small area is very, very cliquey. And it's crazy because if people can get beyond being in that cliquish mindset, the state can change the whole look of Wilmington, Newcastle, Newark, below the canal, all of that. But everybody likes their cliques.
Everybody likes their cliques. And I mean, I understand, you don't owe anything to nobody, but at the same time, I see what an Atlanta does, when they work together.
Right.
Oh, I'm a producer. Oh, I'm a rapper. Yo, come through. I got these beats for you. I got the studio. Come through. We can make some tracks. Now, y'all just put each other on. And that has been happening so much down there that Atlanta is like one of the biggest music meccas right now.
They are our music right now.
You feel me?
A large percentage of music we consume comes out of Atlanta.
And it's just like, and it's even other places too, down in Florida. The Florida cats, they came together too and did the same exact thing, So it's just like, why is it not clicking for certain people here where, it's strength in numbers?
Right.
And
the thing that's always interesting about both Atlanta, Florida, and other places down south that pull together, they'll pull together and may not necessarily like you. But it's like, you know what? We're going to build this together. It's business.
Exactly.
I might not mess with your personal, but business, we can make money. So we're going to make money business. The personal stuff outside, I think here, people still personal.
Oh, yeah. It's very much personal. And that's because it's this small environment, too. It's very much personal because even the white people, they don't care about that. They do the same thing.
Right.
They like, yo, all right, this is business. We about to get this money. Boom, boom, boom. They not worrying about that. They like, how can we scale? How we can progress? How can we build? And that's what it has to be at times. Like, and I understand, some people you just can't work with. Totally fine.
Right.
I understand that. But the people that you could buy, probably like, you know what? We can probably make something happen. But you know what? You don't want to do it because it's like, nah, man, they're going to take my shine. It's the ego. When everybody can create their own lane.
Right.
That's the thing. Like it's so much money out here. It's so much that we can build off of, and you won't step on nobody's toes. If you are a unique individual, then you always are going to shine. It don't matter what happens. I'm like, it's so many people that do event coordinating. It's a lot of hosts out here. But that doesn't mean I'm going to stop.
Right.
You feel me? I have my own unique niche, and that's what people got to understand. If you create your own lane, you're going to always win.
Right.
You're going to always be able to feed yourself.
And you don't have to worry about what somebody else is doing, anything
At all, man.
But to you cats watching this, understand that, get out that cliquish mindset. You ain't got to like a person to get money with them.
Yeah.
And then who knows, y'all might start getting money, then you'll be able to bust it up and find out what it is about each other you're not fans of, and we can get beyond that and make even more money.
Yeah.
But as long as we keep saying, I'm not messing with them because I don't roll with him or I don't funk with him like that, that's keeping a lot of people back. And there's a lot of talent that's out here dying, not in the physical sense, but just like they're moving on to other things. Like we could have had some singers and artists and everything out here right now, but they get tired of the cliquish stuff. So it's like, let me go ahead and get this job and start this family, and that. And they let it go.
And that's the tone of Delaware too. It's like when it don't work, everybody just, goes back to the norm. They conform to the norm. And it's just like, dang, bro, like just imagine if you had that other person to help you or just to pull you up, or y'all collaborated. What could have blossomed from that?
Right.
But it's also I also feel like it's marketing as well. Like I said, I think it's marketing as well. I think a lot of people don't really understand how to create marketing campaigns. And that's super huge. It's like you can be the most talented person in the world, but if you don't know how to get to the people, nobody will ever know about you
at all.
And that's, I think, another major thing that lacks here in Delaware. people just don't know how to market their product or services the correct way. Now, granted, it's a lot of people who are starting to do that now, but yeah, like back in the day, I say even just a couple years ago, a lot of people didn't really understand that. I see a little bit more people transforming that now, though. I see them actually, taking their craft serious and really studying business and understanding how to scale their business to the next level. So
yeah, because real rap, the keys to success, the blueprint's already out there, and the blueprint is on YouTube, it's on Instagram, it's on Facebook, it's on Twitter.
Yeah.
So we really don't have excuses on why you can't understand the entry of marketing and at least know what to look for if you have to delegate that to somebody else. We're not saying you have to be a one-stop shop, but you need to understand marketing so when you get somebody that says they could do it for you, they're legit. They can do it for you.
Exactly.
You don't have to kill yourself with that.
And marketing is like the main thing. That's key.
Because without marketing, you have nothing.
You don't.
I don't care how great your product is. I don't care how great you are, your talent or whatever. If it's not marketed to the audience that wants it, it's going to fall on deaf ears.
Man, look, it's a couple businesses around here. I ain't going to say no names, but, it's a couple businesses around here that had great potential.
Right.
But because of their marketing not being as solidified as it needed to be, they were not excelling the way they needed to. And the company was like barely surviving. And I'm just like, man. And the funny thing is, a couple of these businesses had opportunities to collaborate with people, but they denied their services. And I was like, okay.
Probably on some clickish stuff or not appreciating the value that you were going to bring.
That's what that's really what it is. Not appreciating the value that you are going to bring. And that's the problem with a lot of people who do business here, and specifically black people.
Yeah.
Let's really keep it funky. Specifically black people. And let's be honest, it's definitely a tier of black people here,
Right.
We
all not the same. There's some that they want to do business, and you got some that they can care less about doing business. Then you got the ones that's scared to do business.
Because I've met some very knowledgeable people, black people here, who are making moves, but because they're in a whole different bracket, you got to really be in those spaces to even be around them,
right?
If you feel me. But if you're not, then you're going to keep running to the same type of people who are not expanding their minds enough to be like, you know what, dang, I see the value in you, let's collaborate. I think you have something I need and I have something that you need,
right?
So
but my next question I gotta ask, man, is your keys to success. We talked about that off camera before, but I want you to really go into about what are your keys to success.
I'm trying to think, like, when did I come across this? I think I was reading the 12 Universal Laws of Success. I was reading that book, and it came to me. I was like, darn. I'm like, yo, these are going to be my 4 keys. And my 4 keys are discipline, consistency, networking, and collaboration. And I specifically put it in that order because discipline, like, you have to sacrifice something. You have to sacrifice something in order to get somewhere, because it's just like, all right, I need to stop going out, drinking, spending money if I want to actually build a company. That money that I'm spending on going out, I could be investing that into my company. But if I never make that sacrifice to be disciplined, how am I going to scale? How am I ever going to grow? How am I ever going to be in a position to make the right decisions when I need to, when I don't want to?
Right.
And that's the discipline. When you don't want to do it, you still going to do it. So, and then the consistency is like the results. The only way you're going to get results is if you're making consistent strides. It's like when we were first born. The only way we were able to walk, you had to crawl first, consistently crawl. And then from there, you realize, like, okay, I can do a little bit more. Now I'm walking. And now from there, I'm like, oh, y'all got my mobility skills. So it's just like you have to constantly keep applying that pressure and just being consistent with your execution. That's really all it is. And you'll eventually will see results, promise you. And the thing is just having patience when you do it, though. I think people rush so much because they want it right then and there. They're not willing to be consistent enough to be like, you know what? it's going to take me about 15 to 10 years. Because think about musicians, right? When they first started out, they was probably terrible. But all the musicians that started when they're younger are popping now.
Right.
Look how long it took them. And most success takes about 10 to 15 years anyway to really get that first where you're like, oh, I look like an overnight success. Then you got networking. Okay. So, of course, you got to have resources. I don't care what you're talking about. You got to have resources. And it's also about who you know. Because that's the only way you're going to be able to grow, scale, be able to get things done. You're only as strong as your network. Right. If you don't know nobody, where it makes you think you're going to put yourself in the right arenas or areas to be able to, to get what you need.
You in that boat by yourself.
You're in the boat by yourself. So how are you? It's not going to work. It's not going to work at all. And then collaboration, man, is just nobody became successful or nobody really evolved by themselves. You need other perspectives to bounce off each other so you can see. It's hard to be objective. Right. So you gotta build with other people because iron sharpens iron. They're going to be able to challenge you to see within yourself what flaws or what you need to fix.
And bring you to the table, and you gotta step up.
Exactly. Hold you accountable for sure. Yeah, man. So that's my 4 keys to success.
Now, was it hard to find other people in your vision that, in your network that felt your vision, that understood your vision?
It was, I'll say this, it's challenging building a team. It's been challenging building a team to get people to definitely see your vision the way you do. Okay. That's always going to be challenging because it's your vision. I think I've always been great at networking, though. I feel like I've always been in the right places or being connected with the right people. And that's just due to my personality. Right. My vibe, people enjoy being around me. People vibe with me. People just like me. I'm a likable person. I think that was an advantage I've had because that's always helped me be in the right circles and in the right environments. Okay. But when it came to having people aboard to help me build this vision, that's been challenging because, one, me being able to articulate properly to where it's a beneficial or a win-win situation, and it's like I said, it's just going to be challenging within itself to get people to understand your vision because it's yours. But I feel like one, what allowed me to really be able to attract the people I needed was me working on myself. Okay. I'm going to be 100%. Me working on myself, literally, when I did get critiques, I would go back and be like, okay, well, let me evaluate myself and let me see where I need to change or what I need to fix so I can literally attract exactly what I need. My thing is based off energy. I'm always trying to make sure I'm vibrating on a certain frequency so I can get what I need. And that was literally it. I was having people say, yo, you need to fix your energy with this certain thing. I'm like, okay, cool. Sometimes I would brush it off right then and there, but then I'll go back and be like, well, dang, you know what, they right. Man, I was a little harsh or I was a little too much, or I'm like, okay, cool. And then from there, I started seeing that me changing within myself started bringing the right people around me that understood my vision even more. Okay. So after a while, it just was it was a lot of trial and error. Trust me. I tried to put together a lot of teams and I just was like, okay, this is not the right fit. I was like, this is not the right fit. And I think the intentions behind it needed to be pure and genuine as well too. So I had to make sure that certain things were aligned with myself in order for me to build the right team. Right. And I'm finally at that point where I have an amazing team. Shout out to my team, the Atypical Society team. We out there. So we're definitely making some moves. The infrastructure is coming together perfectly. I'm blessed, man. I can't even complain, man. It's all coming together, and it's been a divine journey. So it's amazing. Man,
it sounds amazing. It definitely sounds amazing. Yeah. Now I gotta get you with this because I'm interviewing you, but you have interviewed dozens and dozens of talented people. What are the interviews that when somebody mentions an atypical interview, you'd be like, okay, yeah, that was a good one, or this one was a good one. Which ones come to mind?
Man, when like curating the interview, or just like the people that I choose to interview.
I would say let's touch on both.
Okay.
Start with curating.
Curating the interview, like honestly, a lot of the artists I've like built relationships with.
Okay.
I go out of my way to show that I actually support them. I make sure I either buy merchandise, or if they have an event, I come and I support. I make sure I show up, show love, and I really enjoy myself. I don't just come to be like, cameo, show up, let me just come get some pictures type vibe. Like, I really enjoy the artist's work, whether it's painting, photography, music. I really just try to show my support, because I think that's the biggest reward or gift you can give somebody. If you genuinely support these people, I think that will take you a long way in life, because that's all people want to feel is the love.
Right.
Like, it's simple. It's not hard. It's just people want to feel the love, that you actually care. So that was the main thing. And from there, I was able to engage the right conversations, when it came to interviewing them, by just studying, their progress over the years, or how long I've been knowing them. And from there, it was just, it was just, honestly, I don't know. It was just a natural connection with a lot of the people, honestly.
And it definitely comes across when you watch an interview that you're doing. It's like, oh, they just a group of friends chilling.
Yeah, it's
they
really
just happen to be
natural.
recording what they talking about.
It's really just a natural environment. It's organic. I try to create that organic feel, because I don't want anything to be forced. I don't want it to feel forced. And then as far as what did I say? Curating, and then I said what
the
else?
Actual people you interview.
Oh yeah, man. I'm trying to think, like, who did I interview? Oh man, Big Kin Master. He was a good one. We did an interview together. He's a rapper from Delaware. Actually, he's pretty popping too, man. He's making some major moves. That was an interesting one, because I knew him when he was a young boy playing basketball, and then he went to becoming a music artist. And I thought that was very intriguing, because I was like, I wouldn't look at him and expect him to become, a rapper. And it just was like intriguing. So it was real cool. It was like some like basement type vibes, the Rap City. I mean, and it was like, it was cool. We had Jaren G, DJing in the background. And we basically just highlighted like his transformation from, like I said, being a basketball player to actually becoming a rapper. And I would say, who else, man? It was just Frenchie. That's going to be on the new episodes. Y'all definitely gonna have to check that out.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, she's from Philly. Really dope music artist. She's a singer, vocalist, dancer, super amazing. Me and her hosted a show together in up in Philly. Oh man, I can't remember the show. That's messy. But it was a dope show. Me and her host. That was like the first time I met her. And from there, and I was just like really following her progress as well. And it just so happened recently that I think this year she released an album called 327. And I was like, oh, this is dope. I was like, yo, we need to get you on the show. I'm like, let's do this. And she was so open arms with it. And I was like, okay, cool. I said, we're just going to highlight, her new single called Philly. And that joint went crazy. Like, Philly was really vibing with that. She's really been taking off since then. So yeah, it's just, honestly, I look for artists who are really taking their craft serious. Honestly, I really just see, or if you're doing this for a hobby, or like, is this really like your passion? I don't really try to do trendy artists, I'm gonna be honest with you.
Okay.
Yeah, I try to stay away from the trendy stuff. I might, but I try to get people who are not of the norm, because that's what Atypical Society stands for.
Right. And sometimes the trendy person could just be on the way up, so you kind of like, I gotta touch base with them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's all part of the culture. It's all part of the culture. But I definitely try to stick to artists that are atypical. That you normally wouldn't see, or somebody you like, oh snap, they got a whole different vibe that they bring in. So that's what we try to capitalize off of the most.
And that's what's up. But now I gotta touch on something. You and I met when I was doing photography and you were doing modeling.
Yeah, man.
Through that journey, how did you find yourself from modeling to hosting events to Atypical?
Man, modeling honestly was just and this is what it's funny because I always say this now. I'm like, man, I would never model again because I really know models who do this as a living.
Right.
And there's an art to modeling. Not everybody got it. Now, me, I was just doing it because people was like, oh, you're tall, you're handsome, you should try it out. I'm like, all right, cool. It was cool. I had a good walk, though. My walk was good, and it was a good, I did, man. That was one of my
You had to make sure, say, my walk was on point.
My walk was on point. That actually got me a lot of shows, actually, because my walk was mean. I wound up walking in Philly Fashion Week, in their beginning years. Man, they're booming now. And I've done a lot of other shows, honestly. I couldn't even count. I used to get paid for it, too. So that's another good thing too.
So you just weren't the Instagram model or nothing like that. It's
man,
like,
and
it was writing checks.
And Instagram wasn't even popping at this time.
You know what? It sure wasn't.
It wasn't. Remember, I was young.
People were still trying to figure out Twitter, and they just stayed on Facebook.
Facebook. That's what was popping. I wasn't. I was definitely in the mix when it came to the modeling. I stopped because the demand. And I was like, I'm not really trying to do this to get in the industry.
Right.
I like the networking aspect of modeling. I got to meet a lot of different people. And I didn't know what I was doing with it at the time. I just like being in that environment because I thought it was creative. I'm an artist, and I'm by heart, by trade. That's me. I can draw. I can make music. I do all of that. But I just liked being in that environment because how it made me feel was fueling me. So I was like, man, this is dope, man. And I just was meeting a lot of dope people. So I'm like, okay, cool. And then from there, how I became a host is when I started managing Union Music Group.
Okay.
And it's funny, the person that actually, I would say he was an old mentor. I would say he was a mentor, Nudie Felton.
Oh, okay. Shout out to Nudie. Good people.
Yeah. He was like literally because I actually was modeling with them with Dead Denim.
Okay. Yeah, I remember Dead Denim.
Yup.
They never had anything in my size, so that's why you don't see nothing in my closet. But they were good people nonetheless.
Yeah. It was from there, and doing work with them to, he was like, look, man, I got these cats that I think you should, vibe with. I was a little older than all them. And I was like, okay. He was like, yeah, they do music, but I think you could do something with them. And I was like, all right, well, I was like, I'll see. I was like, I don't know what you want to do. I just was always trying to curate things. Right. Because even before, I was trying to put something together with all of us, with me, Nudie, a couple other cats. And I was like, yeah. So he basically introduced me to them. And from there, I just started like hanging out with these guys, just seeing like their personalities, seeing who they were. And from there, that's kind of how I started the hosting, because when we started doing showcases for them and other artists in the Wilmington area, well, we did Wilmington and Newark. That's where my hosting came into play, because they was like, yo, who's going to host the shows? I was like, I can do that. I was like, that's me, So from there, that's where the hosting evolved, and I really was good at it. I didn't realize that, I had a niche for it, and I was just like, yo, I can get the crowd hype on. Then from there, it evolved, and I was like, yo, this can really be a lane. And that's when I was they was joking at the time, but they was like, yo, you can really be like a P. Diddy. Because, Diddy was just the one getting all the talent together, organizing the back scenes and really, like, putting the moves together. And that was me. I came in and I got them structured. I got them organized to where we started making moves. And we was doing shows in New York, Philly, D.C., killing them. We was creating like a crazy buzz for us. But when you're dealing with artists at a young age and a group of artists, it was hard to manage all of those personalities. And I was young myself. Right. I was only like 23.
Oh, okay.
I was only so I was just like, darn, I got cats that's like 19, 20, 21. I'm like, and I'm managing them. It just was challenging. So I just was like, from there, I thought hosting would be something I was really good at. And I've always wanted to be on TV and do those type of things anyway. And so from there it evolved. But in the midst of that, that's where Atypical evolved too, where I found out that, you know, I can tie the two into one. And from there, I was like, you know what? I'm going to be the host for any events or shows that Atypical Society does, you know. And from there, being with Shantae and all them, and then evolving to where we at now, I've just really seen that I had a niche with just being able to just have a good personality on camera,
right?
You know, and then just having the right vibe and just my aesthetics. You know, people was always gravitated to like my wardrobe, my style.
Yo, because you do got awesome sense of style. Like,
thank you.
Like, yo, I mean, you're probably one of the few people that when it comes time for me to go to an event or something, I said, well, we not the same size, but King got something. I like how you put the colors together.
Right.
I like how you put the patterns together. So I'll look at your Instagram and be like,
I appreciate it.
Okay, I like that. Mental note.
Right.
I like that. And
I appreciate that.
I have no problem admitting that.
No, I appreciate that, man.
Because that's something that I think we need to do more often as brothers and black men. Like, I'm gonna give you your roses and credit while you here. I'm not gonna speak on it when the universe calls you home.
I know, right?
I'm gonna show you love now.
Thank you.
So a lot of people, you know, your brothers, man, it's nothing wrong with seeing your brother and be like, yo, man, you look good today, bro. What's up? Everything good with you?
That, man. It's nothing wrong with showing love.
Right.
And look, man, when I see somebody dapper or fly, I'm always like, yo, I like how you put that together. That was some dope stuff, man. And yeah, that's my family is stylish. My mom, she's jiggy. My grandmom, she's super fly. So it's just kind of like it kind of was in the family. My grandfather, he was very eclectic with his style. So it was like a melting pot of all of them together, which kind of formed me to be this stylish individual that carried to now. But the funny thing is, I haven't even got started to what I really want to do. Wait till the money come in. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy.
I'm be right there on your Instagram talking about, yeah, that's nice. That's a little out of my tax bracket. You know what I mean? I'm gonna just go ahead and I'm gonna double tap that and keep it moving. But I see something I like, I'll put a comment and be like, yo, that's the nice.
Appreciate it. Yeah, man.
Is that thing coming to 4X?
Look, man, you know, I dibble and dabble in styling as well. So, you know, I styled a couple people just on some small projects. But, man, I be telling cats all the time, and I'm like, nothing is impossible. You know,
that's good to know.
Yeah.
So if you need some help with your styling or something like that, definitely give Akin Atypical a holler.
Yeah,
you know?
I don't mind.
He's a very approachable dude, which, you know, we need to all be approachable, but he's definitely one that you could just speak and introduce yourself, and
I don't bite.
Yo, he'll remember your name and y'all can bust it up and everything.
Yeah,
and
man.
Who knows, you know, great friendship can grow out of it, or great business opportunity.
Indeed.
It's about networking.
Indeed. I'm always looking to collaborate or make connections. You know, and that's why I have to say I'm super duper blessed, man, because the amount of people that I have built relationships with just over the years has been phenomenal. I've met so many great people just in my line of work, you know, and it's allowed me to learn so much, and it's allowed me to open up so many doors, and me being able to open up doors for others just because of people who I know.
Right.
You know, and a lot of, like, sometimes I would know people, but I'd be like, look, you know, I got somebody else that does this, boom, 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 here, you know. I'm always tossing people stuff all the time because it's not just about me. And it's a bigger picture than me. And I don't mind putting people on. I don't care. I want everybody to eat at the end of the day.
And that's what it's about. And I think the more people understand that, the more we can bring talent on a local level to national levels, to global levels.
Exactly, man. Exactly. And it doesn't hurt. Like my inspiration right now, he's been inspiring me a lot lately. It's Tyler Perry.
Okay. Yeah, I just seen a write up on him. He's actually the first solo black studio owner. Like, we never had that. Like, he owns his own film studios.
Own everything. No backing from nobody.
Right.
That's all him.
And this is the same guy who got his start on the Chitlin Church circuit.
Yo.
Selling DVDs, begging y'all not to duplicate or copy his DVDs. He just kept going and going and going. And a lot of people laughed. It was like, oh, this big guy dressed like a woman, this and that. But
look where
that opened up doors for not just for him, but he brings so many people along with him that started out when he was on that Chitlin Church circuit.
What? Come on.
And
he
that's
brought
something.
A lot of people up.
And that's a blueprint everybody can learn from.
He brought a lot of people up, and honestly, that's where we're trying to pitch the show to, because we want the Atypical Society show to get picked up. Like, that's the goal. We want a production company to pick it up so we can scale it to the next level. And he's definitely going to be like one of our people top on our list to pitch to. We'd love for him to pick this Sean up for real.
I wish you good luck on that. And
Appreciate that.
Y'all out there watching this, make sure you support, view, and share anything Atypical puts out.
Oh, I appreciate that.
What I mean?
Bro.
Just do that, just so you can see what we were talking about, see it come to fruition.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and it's quality too. That's the one thing I try to focus on, is making sure it's going to be A1 quality. I don't like putting things out. Sometimes people get on me because I'm a perfectionist, and that has definitely been a downfall. But I know it's good to also show the progression as well. But I love delivering quality. I'm particular about that. I got to. I am.
and I know what you're talking about, because I'm the same way. Like my boy Jarrell, he always told me, like, man, we gotta let you release the reins and stuff. You got let other people help. So I'm learning too, and I learned a lot just having to sit down with you and everything like that. But
it's a process.
What's the future, Atypical, man?
The future is like I'm saying, production company, pretty much production entertainment company. Being like who else can I use? Like a Russell Simmons, how he has the Def Jam. Def Jam is like where I want to have my company pretty much be. Right. I want it to be that catalyst for emerging creators, and then get into our philanthropy work, building community centers. That is one of the things I really want to touch on here, is being able to come back and build another cultural art community center. Right. Because it's only one in the city, and I'm like, we got so many talented people that can't always go there. Right. So where else can they go? And we only have one art school here, and it's integrated. So it's with like another school. It's not strictly art. So I'm like, I want to be able to scale Atypical to the point where we can come back and rebuild and give back to the community as well. So, I mean, we got a nice little 5-year plan in the works.
Definitely wish you good luck on that, man. I'm definitely going to keep my eye out, and
I appreciate it,
and be out there to support and everything.
I appreciate it so much, man. Thank you, man.
Because it sounds like it's a wonderful journey that's just beginning.
Yeah, it is, man. I've been in the kitchen. I've been in the kitchen trying to get the recipe right, knowing what ingredients to put in. So, when it's time for serving the people, they say, like, man, this was very delicious.
That's what's up. But yo, man, I gotta thank you again for coming back out and sharing these words of wisdom to us and everything.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name's Tuck, and this is BOREDinDE, and today's host is Akin from Atypical Society. You could definitely check him out on atypical.co on Instagram. You also have the website atypicalsociety.com, and he's definitely on Facebook. He also has his personal profiles. What's that? Akin.
It's AKIN.BETHEA. That's my Instagram, and it's the same for Facebook if you go to my personal page. But yeah, like you said, holler at us at atypicalsociety.co at IG. And check us out, man. We're gonna have some amazing things, coming to y'all very soon. And I hope y'all definitely enjoy. I appreciate you, Tuck, for bringing me on here.
Oh, no doubt, man.
BOREDinDE, man.
Yeah, man. That's it for today's episode, though. We will get back with y'all on the next one. And again, I'd like to thank my boy for coming out. It's been a pleasure and an honor, sir.
Appreciate it, man.
And I look forward to seeing much bigger things from Atypical Society.
Thank you. Peace, y'all.
Y'all have a good night, man. Peace.